Veteran enforcer Marcus Kane had built his reputation on breaking rookies under pressure, but when he unleashed his most brutal psychological warfare on 18-year-old LeBron James, he was forced to confront a kind of determination that defied every weapon in his mental arsenal. Before diving into this incredible story of unbreakable will and transformation, make sure to subscribe to our channel and share in the comments what true determination means to you. The Cleveland Cavaliers practice facility hummed with the familiar sounds of squeaking sneakers on polished hardwood, the rhythmic bounce of basketballs, and the sharp whistle cuts through humid air thick with sweat and ambition. Under the harsh fluorescent lights that cast long shadows across the court, Marcus Kane stood watching like a predator sizing up his prey. Kane was the Cavaliers' 32-year-old veteran forward, a man whose 14-year NBA career had carved out a unique and feared role the team's enforcer. But Kane's specialty wasn't just physical intimidation on the court. His true expertise lay in psychological warfare, systematically testing the mental fortitude of young players who dared to enter his domain. The scars of Kane's own brutal rookie initiation ran deep. 15 years ago, he had been the promising young talent, full of dreams and determination. But veteran players had systematically broken his spirit through relentless psychological torture, leaving him emotionally hollow. Kane had survived by adopting their methods, becoming the monster that had once destroyed him. Now, breaking rookies wasn't just his job. It was his twisted form of therapy. Kane's philosophy was brutally simple. The NBA was a psychological battlefield where only the mentally strongest survived. Better to break a weak player early than watch them crumble under real pressure when it mattered. This service had ended dozens of promising careers, but Kane viewed it as a necessary evil that protected the integrity of professional basketball. LeBron James represented Kane's ultimate test. At 18, this kid had bypassed college entirely, entering the NBA directly from high school with unprecedented media attention. Dubbed the Chosen One by Sports Illustrated, LeBron carried expectations that would crush most grown men. For Kane, LeBron was the perfect target. The higher they climb, the harder they fall. Kane's strategy was methodical, honed through years of psychological destruction. Week 1. Observe and identify weaknesses. Week 2. Begin subtle provocations to test nervous system responses. Week 3. Launch the real assault. This system had never failed him, and Kane saw no reason why this overhyped teenager would be any different. During the first week, Kane studied LeBron like a scientist examining a specimen. He watched the rookie's training habits, noted his interactions with teammates, analyzed his responses under pressure. One thing struck Kane as particularly interesting. LeBron was never alone. The kid constantly surrounded himself with teammates, offering encouragement, sharing positive energy, building connections. There's his weakness, Kane thought, a cold smile spreading across his weathered face. The kid's dependent on others for confidence. Isolate him, and he'll crumble like a house of cards. Week 2 began with Kane's signature psychological needling. He would rearrange LeBron's locker, hiding personal items just enough to create frustration without obvious malice. During scrimmages, Kane delivered calculated hard fouls always within the boundaries of physical play, but designed to send a message of dominance. In team meetings, he would dismiss LeBron's contributions with cutting remarks. Rookies listen and learn. They don't speak until spoken to. But LeBron's reactions puzzled Kane. Every provocation met with calm acceptance. When his belongings were disturbed, LeBron quietly reorganized without complaint. Hard fouls were met with respectful nods and even occasional smiles. When dismissed in meetings, LeBron simply nodded and said, "I understand, Mr. Kane." Kane felt his frustration mounting. Why wasn't this kid breaking? Where was the anger, the defensive posturing, the emotional cracks that typically appeared by now? Week 3 arrived with Kane's full psychological assault. This phase would be personal, brutal, and designed to shatter whatever mental defenses LeBron had constructed. The setting was perfect after a particularly grueling practice session when LeBron's shooting had been off and his confidence appeared vulnerable. Kane cornered LeBron in the empty locker room, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper that echoed off the metal lockers. "Listen carefully, rookie. You think you're special because some magazine put you on a cover? You're nothing but a media creation, a balloon full of hot air that's about to pop when real pressure hits." LeBron turned to face Kane directly, his eyes showing curiosity rather than fear. "Why are you saying this, Marcus? What did I do wrong?" Kane's anger flared at this composed response. "What you did wrong was believing your own hype. You're just an overpampered kid who's about to learn that this league will chew you up and spit you out." LeBron nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe you're right. I still have a lot to learn. Could you teach me what I need to know?" This response sent Kane into a rage. No rookie had ever responded to his attacks with requests for mentorship. They were supposed to get angry, defensive, or break down crying. LeBron's calm acceptance felt like mockery of Kane's carefully crafted intimidation system. Kane escalated his campaign. During the next practice, he made LeBron's every mistake a public spectacle. "Look at your chosen one. Can't even handle a basic crossover," he shouted when LeBron lost the ball. When LeBron missed a shot, Kane announced to the entire team, "The media told you this kid was a superstar. I've seen high school JV players with better form." But with each public humiliation, something extraordinary happened. LeBron didn't shrink or retaliate. Instead, he absorbed the criticism, acknowledged his mistakes, and worked harder. Kane's attacks weren't breaking him down. They were building him up, forging his determination in the fire of adversity. Kane was entering uncharted territory. In 14 years of psychological warfare, he had never encountered resistance like this. How was this teenager so mentally resilient? Week 4 brought Kane's nuclear option attacking LeBron's deepest personal pain. After a particularly difficult practice where the rookie had struggled with complex plays, Kane delivered what he intended to be the killing blow. "You know what, LeBron?" Kane's voice dripped with calculated cruelty as he backed the teenager against a locker. "Your father had the right idea when he abandoned you. He could see you didn't have what it takes to be a man. Maybe he was just saving himself the embarrassment of watching you fail." For the first time, LeBron's expression changed. But instead of the breakdown Kane expected, something powerful flickered in the young man's eyes. When LeBron spoke, his voice carried a steel-like quality that made Kane's blood run cold. "Marcus," LeBron said, his tone calm but unshakable, "I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to break me like someone once broke you. But I need you to understand something. I'm not them." Kane felt the ground shift beneath his feet. This kid was psychoanalyzing him. LeBron continued with wisdom that seemed impossible for his age. "My father leaving didn't make me weak, Marcus. It made me strong. Because I learned early that life will test you, and you can either let those tests destroy you or use them to build something unbreakable inside yourself." Kane's hands began trembling slightly. The roles had somehow reversed. The predator had become the prey. "You don't know what you're talking about," Kane whispered, but his voice lacked conviction. LeBron's expression softened with understanding. "Marcus, when you try to break me, you're not showing your strength. You're showing your pain. Someone hurt you once, hurt you so badly that you decided to hurt others rather than heal yourself." The locker room fell silent except for the distant sound of basketballs bouncing in the gym. Kane felt tears threatening to fall as years of buried trauma rose to the surface. "How do you—" Kane's voice cracked. "How do you know?" LeBron placed a gentle hand on Kane's shoulder. "Because I recognize the look of someone who's been carrying pain for too long. You're not trying to break me because you're evil, Marcus. You're trying to break me because you're broken, and misery loves company." Kane's carefully constructed emotional walls came crashing down. This 18-year-old kid had seen through 15 years of psychological armor and touched the wounded boy still hiding inside the hardened veteran. "So what am I supposed to do?" Kane asked, feeling more vulnerable than he had since his own rookie year. LeBron smiled with compassion that transcended his years. "Stop trying to break me and start trying to build something better. Teach me how to survive in this league, but do it by making me stronger, not by tearing me down." The transformation was immediate and profound. Kane abandoned his psychological warfare entirely, becoming LeBron's protector and genuine mentor. He taught the rookie the subtle strategies of NBA survival, but with encouragement rather than intimidation. The team noticed the change instantly. Their toughest veteran had become their most supportive leader. As the season progressed, Kane discovered that mentoring felt infinitely better than bullying. LeBron's positive energy and unbreakable determination inspired not just Kane, but the entire team. The kid's approach to adversity became a masterclass in mental toughness that veteran players studied and emulated. During the playoffs, when pressure mounted and younger players began to crack, Kane no longer tried to break them down. Instead, following LeBron's example, he built them up. This new approach revolutionized team chemistry and performance, creating a culture of support rather than intimidation. At season's end, Kane approached LeBron one final time. "I need to thank you for something," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "What for?" LeBron asked. Kane's eyes glistened. "For showing me that real strength isn't about how much pain you can inflict. It's about how much you can endure and still choose to build rather than destroy." LeBron squeezed Kane's shoulder. "You were always strong, Marcus. You just needed to point that strength in the right direction." Years later, after retirement, Kane became a youth counselor, working with troubled teenagers who reminded him of his former self. He would always share the lesson LeBron taught him. True determination isn't about being unbreakable. It's about choosing to rebuild yourself every time life breaks you down. Kane's favorite story was always about the rookie who refused to break. "I tried to destroy that kid," he would say with a smile, "but he destroyed my demons instead and built me into someone better." That's the difference between a bully and a leader. A bully tears down, but a leader builds up, even when they're being torn down themselves. The story of how LeBron James had turned the league's most feared rookie destroyer into a protector became legendary throughout NBA circles. Other veterans began questioning their own methods, wondering if they too were perpetuating cycles of pain rather than building greatness. Kane's transformation inspired what became known as the LeBron method, using adversity as a tool for growth rather than destruction. Teams that adopted supportive veteran leadership saw marked improvements in rookie development and team chemistry. Dr. Michael Roberts, a leading sports psychologist, documented the phenomenon. What we witnessed wasn't just conflict resolution, it was a masterclass in how authentic strength can transform toxic environments. LeBron didn't just resist Kane's attacks, he converted destructive energy into constructive change. Kane began speaking at rookie orientation sessions, sharing his story with incoming players. "There's a difference between being tested and being torn down," he would tell them. "Real tests make you stronger. Bullying just makes someone else feel better about their own weakness." The most powerful part of Kane's presentations was describing his emotional breakthrough. "When LeBron looked at me with compassion instead of fear, it shattered something inside me that had been broken for 15 years. He didn't defeat me, he healed me." LeBron carried the lesson throughout his career. Whenever faced with adversity or psychological intimidation, he would remember Kane's transformation and respond with grace that could turn enemies into allies. In interviews years later, LeBron would reference that experience. "Marcus Kane taught me that hurt people, but healed people heal people. When someone attacks you, they're usually revealing their own pain. If you can see past the attack to the wounded person underneath, you have the power to transform both of you." 5 years after their first encounter, Kane and LeBron met again at an NBA charity event. Kane had become one of the league's most respected mentors, while LeBron had fulfilled every promise of his early potential. "You know," Kane said as they watched young players scrimmage, "I spent 14 years thinking strength meant making others feel small. You taught me that real strength means making others feel 10 feet tall." LeBron smiled, watching as Kane gently corrected a young player's form with encouragement. "And you taught me that sometimes the people who hurt us the most are just asking to be healed. Thanks for showing me what determination really looks like, Marcus." Kane laughed. "I showed you determination? Kid, you showed me what unbreakable looks like. But more than that, you showed me that being unbreakable doesn't mean being unmovable. It means being strong enough to lift others up while you're being tested." The transformation that occurred in that Cleveland locker room wasn't just about basketball, it was about the power of unbreakable will to not only withstand any assault, but to transform attackers into allies. LeBron James didn't just survive Marcus Kane's psychological warfare, he turned his greatest enemy into his greatest advocate, proving that true determination doesn't just endure, it inspires, it heals, and it transforms. If you enjoyed this incredible story of unbreakable determination and transformation, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want more content about these powerful character moments, don't forget to subscribe. Share in the comments the moments when determination changed your life or someone else's.